If you are listening to this alone in the dark, I need you to do one thing right now. Pause for a second and listen carefully to the room around you. If you hear anything unusual, do not ignore it. Because the story you are about to hear began with a sound that someone ignored. It started in a quiet town in upstate New York in the late 1990s. Nothing about that town seemed strange at first. It was calm, peaceful, and ordinary. The kind of place where neighbors wave at each other. The kind of place where nothing ever happens. But something did happen there. 3 people vanished without a trace. No bodies were found. No official explanation was ever given. Only an empty house remained. And what was discovered inside that house made investigators uncomfortable. Before we go deeper, make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the Midnight Dark for more true stories like this. Your support keeps these real cases alive. Now let me tell you about the family. The father was named Mark. He worked night shifts at a local factory. His wife Elena stayed home most days. Their son Daniel was 8 years old. They had just moved into a rental house on the edge of town. The house was built in the 1940s. It was a simple wooden structure. The paint was peeling from the outside walls. The windows looked older than the frame. The staircase inside was narrow and creaky. The basement had a dirt floor instead of concrete. It felt older than it looked. The first strange thing happened on their 3rd night. Daniel woke up crying. He said someone was whispering in his room. Elena assumed it was just house noises. Old wood makes strange sounds at night. Pipes can knock unexpectedly. Wind can slip through cracks in windows. She checked his closet. She looked under his bed. She checked outside his window. She found nothing unusual. Daniel insisted it was not the house. He said the whisper was calling his name. Elena comforted him and put him back to sleep. A week later, Mark noticed something strange. He left for work at 10:30 p.m., as usual. He returned around 6 a.m. Every kitchen cabinet door was open. All of them were wide open. Elena swore she had not touched them. She thought Mark was playing a joke. Mark denied it completely. They laughed nervously. But the laughter did not last long. The basement door began opening by itself. It had a hook lock that required manual turning. One night at 2 a.m., Elena heard a loud bang. She stepped into the hallway. The basement door was wide open. The hook was still locked in position. There was no damage to the door. No sign of forced entry. Daniel refused to sleep alone after that. He said the whisper had changed. It was no longer gentle. It was angry. It told him to come downstairs. It said something was waiting for him. Elena decided to record the hallway overnight. She placed a tape recorder outside Daniel's door. She let it run until morning. When she played it back, she froze. First there was silence. Then soft footsteps were heard. Then breathing. Then a distorted voice spoke clearly. It sounded like 2 voices at once. It said, "He can see us." That was the moment everything changed. When Mark heard the recording, he stopped smiling. He knew this was not a joke. They contacted the police. Officers searched the entire house. They checked the attic carefully. They examined the basement. They searched the closets and crawl spaces. A K9 unit was brought in. No intruders were found. No hidden rooms were discovered. Police suggested stress might be causing fear. But the family knew something was wrong. One night, Mark decided to stay home from work. He said he felt uneasy. Around 1:17 a.m., the power shut off. Every light went dark instantly. The refrigerator stopped running. The digital clock went blank. Even Mark's watch stopped ticking. Outside, the streetlights remained on. The neighbors still had electricity. Only their house was affected. Then they heard a scraping noise. It came from the basement. It sounded like something heavy being dragged. Mark grabbed a flashlight. He told Elena to stay upstairs. He walked down slowly. His hands were shaking. The basement appeared empty. But the dirt floor was disturbed. Long circular marks covered the ground. The center looked freshly dug. It looked like something had been buried. The next morning, Mark borrowed tools. He began digging into the dirt. 2 feet down, he hit concrete. It was a square slab. It had been placed deliberately. The landlord claimed he had no knowledge of it. Permission was given to break it open. When the slab cracked, a terrible smell escaped. It smelled like decay. Inside was a hollow chamber. Human bones were lying inside. At least 2 skulls were visible. Possibly 3. There was no clothing. No identification was found. Police sealed the house as a crime scene. Forensic teams collected the remains. Records showed multiple past owners. One former owner had an assault charge. No murder conviction existed. The family moved into a motel during the investigation. On the second night, Daniel screamed again. He said the whisper had followed him. He said it was angry. He said it blamed them for opening it. At 3:03 a.m., the motel phone rang. Mark answered the call. Only static filled the line. Then the distorted voice returned. It repeated, "He can see us." The call had no traceable source. Motel staff confirmed no outgoing call. Fear turned into panic. Mark decided they had to leave town. He quit his job immediately. They'd packed their belongings. They'd planned to drive south. They told only close relatives. They left quietly. 3 days later, police returned to the house. The family's car was parked outside. The doors were unlocked. The keys were still inside. Their luggage remained untouched. The family was gone. They were never seen again. Have you ever heard of the Blackwood Manor? It's that old house on the hill. The one everyone whispers about, but no one dares to get close to. They say it's been empty for 50 years, ever since the entire Albright family vanished without a trace. I'm talking mother, father, 2 kids gone. No struggle, nothing. It's one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries in our town's history, and tonight, we're diving into it. The story begins in the summer of 1974. The Albrights were, by all accounts, a perfectly normal family. Mr. Albright was a respected local banker. Mrs. Albright was a beloved piano teacher, and their children, Leo and Clara, were always seen playing in the manor's sprawling gardens. They were the picture of happiness. But then, on a calm August night, something changed. Neighbors reported seeing strange lights flickering in the windows of the manor. Not like candlelight, but like strobing, unnatural colors. Some even claimed to hear faint music, a discordant tune that made their skin crawl. The next morning, the milkman found the bottles from the day before still on the porch. The newspaper was still on the driveway. When he peeked through the window, he saw the breakfast table was set for 4, with food still on the plates, as if the family had just gotten up and walked away mid-meal. That's when the police were called. They searched the entire house, every room, every dusty corner. They found everything perfectly in place clothes in the closets, toys in the children's room, even money in Mr. Albright's wallet on the dresser, but the family was gone. The search expanded to the surrounding woods and the entire town. Volunteers and police scoured the area for weeks, then months. But they found nothing. It was as if the Albrights had simply evaporated into thin air. As the years passed, stories about the Blackwood Manor began to grow. People who were brave enough to trespass reported hearing children's laughter echoing from empty hallways, or the faint sound of a piano playing that same unsettling melody the neighbors heard that final night. Doors would allegedly slam shut on their own, and cold spots would appear out of nowhere, even on the hottest summer days. One of the most persistent legends is about Clara's room. They say her favorite porcelain doll, which was found sitting on her bed during the initial investigation, sometimes moves. Urban explorers have taken photos where the doll is looking at the window, and in later photos, it's turned to face the door. Of course, many dismiss these as tricks of light or simple pranks, but the consistency of the stories over decades is what makes it so eerie. What could have happened to them? Was it a planned disappearance? Unlikely, given they left everything behind. A kidnapping? But there was no ransom demand and no evidence of a break-in. This leaves the more unsettling possibilities. The townsfolk have their own theories. Some believe the house itself is a malevolent entity, that it somehow consumed the family. Others whisper about an old curse tied to the land the manor was built on. Before the Albrights, other families had lived there, and many had met with strange misfortunes, though none as dramatic as vanishing completely. The house stands there today, a silent monument to a family lost to time. The windows are like dark, vacant eyes, watching over the town. The mystery of the Albright family remains unsolved, a ghost story whispered from one generation to the next. What do you think really happened inside the Blackwood Manor? Let me know your theories in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more unsolved mysteries.